Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very special video for you. I did something that I've been wanting to do ever since I started making videos, and it's interview one of the most amazing polyglots and one of the polyglots that I relate to the most when it comes to a strategy. He really needs no introduction. He is the co-founder of lingq and he's been making videos for over 12 years. Just to put that in perspective, I was 12 years old when his first video was on. He learned most of his languages in adulthood, proving that there's really no age to learn a language. I interviewed Steve Kaufmann. And before we go to the interview, Steve was very kind to provide you 35% discount on lingq annual subscription, and you can find it in the link in the description down below. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm very excited to do this.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward.
I wanted to ask you, do you find it difficult in the beginning when you start listening to a lot of audio because you don't understand, or did you enjoy like just listening?
Where you basically start with something that's just noise. You can't tell where one word ends and the next word begins. And fairly soon, what was noise now has meaning. So there's a great sense of achievement. Now, it does require a lot of repetitive listening in the beginning. It requires, reading what you are listening to, the way we do at lingq, saving words and phrases and slowly getting some traction in the language. But there is there is a sense of achievement in that early period, a sense of achievement that we don't have when we're in that middle period where, we've learned all the high frequency words, and now the words we're trying to learn are frequency drops off very quickly. And so it's more and more difficult to learn these new words. And so you go through a long period where you feel you're not getting anywhere. So the difficult period is the middle period. Once you're launched, once you can just pick up an audiobook in, Spanish, Polish, Chinese, and you understand it, and that's fun, and you're improving all the time. But it's that middle period that's the toughest. And the early period is that sense of, it's difficult, but you're starting to get a sense of some things, and you're able to say a few things, at least to yourself. I think that's probably an easier period than the middle period.
Yeah, I will agree. It's mostly like you're kind of like in a honeymoon state where you're in love with the language, and then in the middle it's harder.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good term, the honeymoon stage. I like that, yes.
It's absolutely true. Well, for me at least, I get super motivated in the beginning, and then intermediate period I need to maybe bribe myself to be more in contact with the language or be more disciplined that I will need in the beginning.
Yeah, in that middle period where you're not yet at a stage where you can listen to genuinely sort of authentic material, you're not quite good enough to do that. And yet you're past the sort of beginner stuff. So you're kind of stranded in between. That's a tough period.
Quería preguntarte sobre cómo ha sido para ti aprender un idioma de adulto. Mi mamá está empezando a aprender inglés y quiero como que escuche esto y se motive para seguir aprendiendo. ¿Qué consejo le podrías dar?
Bueno, es que podemos aprender a cualquier edad. Porque yo por ejemplo, desde la edad de 60 he aprendido como 9, 10 idiomas. Entonces el cerebro, una vez pasado la edad de 12, 13, pues un adulto de 20 años, 40 años, 60 años, igual puede aprender. Es solamente una cuestión de motivación, si tienes este interés, y de confianza. Y si, por ejemplo, una persona no cree que pueda, I don't know if you use the subjunctive, no cree que pueda aprender, bueno, eso es muy malo, ¿no? Hay que tener confianza. Y si no tienes la experiencia de haberse transformado en una persona que habla con fluidez en otro idioma, pues evidentemente no tiene esta confianza. Por eso hay que creer que no solo eres tú, otros lo han hecho. ¿Y por qué no tú? Bueno, hay que hacerlo. Empezar y continuar.
Así es. ¿Crees que es una cuestión de mindset?
Sí, seguro. Porque sabemos que el cerebro, la plasticidad, continúa. Y no hay gran diferencia entre 20 años y 60 años. Entonces, hay que yo creo que un ser humano tiene la posibilidad de dar como instrucciones a su cerebro, que si tú tienes la voluntad, aún de una manera casi de reacción química, puedes hacer que el cerebro va a aprender. Entonces tú puedes, con la determinación, la convicción, puede influenciar, si es una palabra en español, influenciar el cerebro para aprender.
Excelente, sí, estoy de acuerdo. ¿Qué crees que es más importante, mindset o técnica?
Oh, mindset. Si tú tienes el mindset, tú tienes la voluntad, vas a buscar el método más apropiado para ti. Pero si tú no tienes el mindset, la voluntad, la confianza, bueno, ninguna técnica, ninguna escuela, ningún professor ti puede aiutare.
Io volevo parlare precisamente di quando vogliamo mantenere le lingue. Io credo che abbiamo una percezione sbagliata di come dobbiamo mantenere le lingue, perché molti dei miei seguitori tutto il tempo pensi che devono mantenere le lingue tutte allo stesso livello, ma non è possibile perché non abbiamo tanto tempo nel giorno, non possiamo fare questo. Credo che abbiamo un senso sbagliato di come dobbiamo mantenere la lingua. Tu che parli tante lingue, cosa pensi di questo argomento?
Sì, per mantenere le lingue bisogna parlare, ascoltare, leggere, no? E adesso che tratto di imparare altre lingue, no? Non ho il tempo per migliorare il mio livello in italiano e in altre lingue. Ci sono delle lingue come il francese per me, in mio caso, no? Francese, giapponese, cino mandarino. Più o meno ho un livello che non va a cambiare molto, però italiano che non uso mai, però non ho paura di perdere le lingue, perché una volta che voglio ricominciare a leggere, a ascoltare, no, non ho bisogno parlare. Semplicemente ascoltare mi aiuta, no? Come dire, rinfrescare le lingue. Dunque per me non è una questione, perché bisogna decidere dell'uso del tempo, no? Sì, adesso sto studiando l'arabe e il persa, non posso migliorare il livello di italiano, ma questo non è un problema, no? Non è una preoccupazione. Per questo la comprensione, questo è la, come si dice, l'abilità, no? Il skill, non so, l'abilità è lo più importante, perché io capisco italiano, un livello di comprensione molto, molto alto. Dunque, se vado in Italia, se ascolto un podcast Rai 2 alle 8 della sera, no? Di questo modo, perché comprendo, no? Posso recuperare molto rapido. Dunque, mi meta, mio obiettivo, I don't know, è sempre la comprensione. Quando ho un livello di comprensione sufficientemente alto, non ho paura di niente.
Yeah, sì, sono d'accordo, sì. E leggere a me personalmente mi aiuta tantissimo leggere perché è una forma anche di imparare un po' la grammatica e non perdere la struttura. But yeah, so let's go back to English because I want to ask you more about mindset and I want to maybe give us like your insight, like what is your mindset when you start approaching a new language?
Okay. Well, the most recent experience that I've had in approaching a new language, obviously, is Arabic, Persian, and Turkish. But prior to that was Greek or whatever. So I know it's going to be difficult. And I'm almost each time surprised at how difficult it is, because when you approach Persian and Arabic, you have a different writing system where each letter doesn't necessarily always correspond to the same sound, something like English maybe. You don't have vowels. Like, there's a lot of difficulties. The form of the letter is different depending on whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end of a word. And at first you say, wow, like, how will I ever overcome this stuff? And yet I've done it so often that I know that I just have to continue. So my mindset is always, there are a lot of difficulties up front. If I continue listening repeatedly and reading what I'm listening to, and using lingq, I say words and phrases, I'm not going to get worse. I just have to keep going. And it's not as if you have your eureka moment because today I'm so much better than yesterday. That's not how it works. The improvement is gradual. But after a month, 2 months, 3 months, you realize that what was once noise to you is now meaning. But then you still have to continue and learn more and more words. And whenever you are listening to the language or reading in the language or speaking in the language or writing in the language, you are improving your ability in the language. Cannot be otherwise. You can't be getting worse. You are only getting better. And so therefore, I think the key thing is just to fight through it. Initially, it's difficult. And the goal is to get to where you can really listen to and read interesting things. The history, the literature, watch movies. And that's the goal that always sort of keeps me going. I know I can get there. I've done it before.
Do you set the specific goals? Or do you have just that goal of understanding the things that you prefer?
No, I mean, to me, the discovery, I enjoy discovering the language. Like, even with my very limited ability in Persian and Arabic and less even in Turkish, it's just fun to discover another language. And you discover another language, and you discover, I go to these outsourcing websites and I get people to, record themselves talking about their lives and transcribe it, and I put that into lingq. And so I'm starting to discover, who are the Iranians, who are the Arabs, who are the Turks. So my goal is just to discover and to go as far as I can. Ideally, I would like to get to, in the European framework, B2, which I consider to be fluent. Not perfect, but fluent. So ideally, that's my goal. But in many cases, I stopped before that because I was distracted. I mean, I learned, say, Greek because I was going to Greece, and so I was functioning in Greek. I was on the island of Crete speaking Greek and having a great time. But then I went off and did another language, so now my Greek has lapsed a bit. And I think I got to B1, let's say, in Greek. And B1 is a very fragile level. You kind of have to get to B2 in order for the language to really, to achieve that level of comprehension, which is the core skill. If you have the comprehension, you can always revive your speaking ability. But it's when the comprehension lags, because you haven't, done enough with the language, that it becomes fragile. So my goal is B2, but I often stop earlier than that, and I still am happy that I have discovered whatever I have discovered about the language.
I agree. I think especially if you're interested in discovering many languages and sort of starting being a language lover, as we call it, it's more interesting to focus on the progress of it than on the goals. And people over obsessed with, I want to be, when you type the most common search words are how to learn a language fast. And it's like, I don't want to learn a language fast. I want to kind of enjoy it and do it in my own time. And if it takes me 2 years, well, it takes me 2 years. And if it takes me one, it takes me one. It's not a matter of how fast, but more of how much fun I'm having with it. Only little things like discovering how to people greet each other or how they, it's finally very exciting.
So I said, so my goal, if you tried to set a level that you'd like to achieve, I say the level I'd like to achieve is B2, but I don't always get there. And I still enjoy whatever I was able to do in the language. But we must also remember that even if you get to B2, there's a long way to go in that language. There isn't a language that I speak that I couldn't improve in. If I weren't spending my time learning other languages, I would go back and improve my level. I mean, we just spoke in Spanish and Italian. I would love to I would love to do better in both languages. And so it's always a choice. Do I go back and improve my ability in language B, C, D, or do I go out and sample language, H, I, J? So those are the choices we have.
Yeah, that's true. It's a clear choice. Either you go all the way with one language or two languages, or you go further with other languages and explore other cultures.
Exactly. And both are valid decisions.
Yes. It depends on your lifestyle, your personality, and what you want to achieve. So.
Or even your needs.
I have one last question for you. I've seen that you've been interviewed by many people, and you've interviewed many people. What have you learned from contacting so many people in the language learning world, I guess?
I think what I come away with is that we have much more in common than things that sort of make us different. So anyone involved in language learning is very enthusiastic. Without enthusiasm, without curiosity, you don't become a language learner. There may be differences on when we start speaking, or whether we go to a school, and of course Luca, whom you know, he has his translation method. So there are sort of specific differences in method, but overwhelmingly there's a great recognition of the importance of input. So curiosity, enthusiasm, and a recognition of the importance of input. And I think a common belief that anyone can learn, regardless of age, regardless of what country you're from. Everyone can learn, and it's just a matter of doing it.
I also find a lot of people in the language learning community are also very empathic. Like, they have a lot of empathy towards each other. And I think it comes from knowing so many cultures. It's something that comes very natural to people who has been exposed to different cultures.
I think that's part of it, definitely. You become more flexible. You're more flexible in terms of your ability to learn new languages. You don't resist new languages. You don't expect that the new language has to be like your language. Again, talking about your mom, the feeling is if we've never learned another language, then we only have the model of our native language. So anything that's different from that, we almost resist it. And once we've got 2 or 3 or 4 languages, something else comes at us. It could be Japanese, Arabic, whatever. Okay, that's how they say it. No problem. I'll gradually learn that. So we're more open that way. And I guess, therefore, we're more open to people, different kinds of people. But the other thing is, I think, and you've been to some of these polyglot gatherings, I think all of the polyglots have a genuine admiration for anyone who speaks even one other language. So when I watch someone basically acting like they're Japanese or French or Chinese or whatever it might be, if I see someone speaking Arabic, I'm just full of admiration. And what you sense at these gatherings is there's never a sense of competition. There's always a sense of support and respect for whatever people are able to do in different languages.
Yeah, because also languages is such a social thing that you need other people. It's not something that you cannot truly do it on your own, because without the person that makes the podcast, without the person that makes the YouTube video, you don't have the content.
Or even the person who wrote a book. You can connect with the people and the culture and the language, even if you're far removed from where that language is spoken. So I also think that, listening and reading are a form of not only of using the language, but of connecting with the people. And it takes you outside yourself. To learn a language, you got to go outside yourself. You become something else. You force yourself into this different world.
Yeah, I think it also brings some level of self-awareness, because you learn who you are without the constraints of your own culture. And I found that to be very mind-opening.
Exactly.
Well, that's great, Steve. I'm so happy to have this conversation.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. Leave down below, what do you think is the right mindset to learn a language? I want to know what are your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.